If you're anything like me, when you first started out in photography, you really didn't want to spend a ton of money making incredible photos and just getting into it. And in this video, I'm going to discuss with you some of the things that I think you should purchase that are very inexpensive that will elevate your photos to the next level. Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody out there on YouTube. Wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is for you, I hope you are doing well. If this is your first time here and you're into photography, or maybe you're thinking about getting into photography, that is 90% of what I create on this channel, and I would encourage you to take a second and click that subscribe button. Make sure you ring the notification bell right next to it so you don't miss not only the photography videos, but my live streams every single week where I just hang out with you guys. I spend a lot of time just chatting with you. In the last video I made, I actually shared with you why I think your smartphone's camera is the best first camera for photographers. If you did miss that video, take a second, go watch that. That is kind of important to understanding why I'm making this one. The very first thing I would recommend you get for photography in general, but especially if you're going to be doing phone photography, is a tripod. You don't need to spend a ton of money, especially if you're just using your phone. A lot of people encourage you to spend hundreds of dollars on tripods. Make that a later investment. When you're just starting out and you're trying to get things figured out, see if you even like it. I would rather waste $30 than hundreds of dollars in the long run. You understand what I'm saying? The thing that's going to be very important specifically to phones is you're going to need something to mount the phone onto a tripod with. Something like one of these. Now I got a fancier one, and if I can get it to focus for us here, you can see it's got a little hot shoe up top because I actually used my phone for front-facing vlogs for a little while when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to vlog or not. But just something simple like that in combo with a tripod, you're going to be able to do long exposures and all kinds of fancy stuff. We'll get into how you can do that here in a minute, but I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on that. I actually went ahead and took some time to just research a really basic combo of a tripod and the phone mount. I put one in this description for you, just a link there if you're interested. It's not an affiliate link, but I do want to just try and help you guys find something that I would personally buy if I were in your shoes. The next thing that I am going to be actually purchasing myself for an upcoming video is a variable ND filter. This is really a very big deal. Essentially, in layman's terms, a short simplified version of it is it's something that goes over your lens that you can turn, essentially adding some shade to it. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. It helps kind of bring the exposure down. It helps you not blow out is the term. Photos where you have really brights. Like if I turned up this light really bright here, and I would have, like, you can kind of see it even here, I'm a little overexposed right here on my forehead. That's because I have a big forehead. Variable ND filters are not just for professional cameras. In fact, I would personally argue they're even more important on a phone, and they're one of the most overlooked investments. Again, you're looking less than 40 bucks for that. And again, I have thrown a link in the description to one that I would buy, and actually the one I will be buying. The next few things I'm going to be mentioning are going to be less expensive by a long shot and or free depending on what it is that you're buying. So if you're getting value out of this video so far, do me a favor and click that like button for me real quick and leave a comment below to let me know some tips and tricks you have for photography on your phone. The next thing I would highly recommend that you do is make sure you have an app on your phone that will allow you to shoot in RAW as well as setting your exposure manually. If you're not familiar with what the RAW file format is, it's essentially a larger file format than your traditional photo, which is called a JPEG, and it gives you the ability to recover more details in your photo. Let's say you underexpose it, right? It's super dark and you're like, man, I wish I could brighten that up. With a JPEG, you're gonna have a hard time doing that. But with a RAW file, it is way more likely that you're gonna be able to recover those shadows, which is what that would be referred to as, bring that up, brighten up the image without losing the detail in it. Manual exposure is super important, and it's going to be talking about a little bit more of like the exposure triangle, if you're familiar with that, ISO, shutter speed, and your aperture. If you're not familiar with that, don't stress about that right now. I'll actually be making a video here in the next couple of weeks to share with you the basics of photography, and you will go over it then, all right? But if your phone's native camera app does not have both of those abilities, both to shoot in RAW as well as adjust your exposure manually, on iPhone, I would recommend you go to your app store and look up the app. It's literally just called the Manual RAW Camera. It costs you $4 one time. It's the best app that I could find. I don't personally shoot on iPhone, so I wasn't able to do much with it, but I did watch some reviews and tutorials and stuff, and it looks like it's a very well put together app. And for $4 to have the ability to get manual exposure as well as shooting in RAW, that's well worth the price. Similarly, if you are on Android and for some reason your native camera app doesn't allow you to go to manual as well as shooting in RAW, you can also look up manual, I think they call it manual camera DSLR. It's $5. It's nothing too crazy at all as far as price point goes. So again, very minimal investment for way better opportunities for good photos. The last thing you're gonna wanna be able to do is edit your photos in your phone's apps. Now, of course, you have some native apps that actually really are not that bad, but you can get some additional apps, whether by cost or most of the time there's some good free ones as well. And we'll actually be going over that in next week's video, some of my tips and tricks to editing on your phone. You'll also get to see some photos that I took with my phone, both before and after an edit. So if you're interested in that, and again, if you haven't already at this point, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It's right next to it so you don't miss that video going forward. But that's it for this one. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button for me to help me to understand what you guys enjoy seeing. And until next week's video, this is Bearden for Hope, signing off.